let's talk about wrapping up some cables. So lately I've been seeing a lot of pickup videos where people get controllers and they always show them off how cool they are with the nice retro NES controller, and then they take that controller and they wrap the cable around the controller, and a little part of me dies every time. So let's look at actually what's going on when we do that. Let's look at the NES controller. We know that inside this cable there are 5 to 10 different wires that actually make up the connecting points from the controller to the console. Now, whenever we wrap the cable over the back side of the controller, we create a pressure point here at the connection, which actually breaks down the wires inside, giving you a less reliable connection to your console, as well as interrupting gameplay in the future because your controller is no longer working. So to combat that, we want to use what is known as the over-under wrapping technique for the cable. The easiest way to think about this is to roll the cable away and then roll the cable towards you, and I'll demonstrate that now. What you want to do is hold the cable at the connection point, not allowing it to twist. Bring the rest of the cable between your thumb and index finger, and you're going to want to roll your index over your thumb until the cable creates a loop. I like to have a good size loop when I'm working on this. Then same thing, index and thumb, but roll your index finger back so that the cable goes underneath and creates a reverse loop or an under loop. You're going to want to do this until your cable is completely wrapped up. What this does is actually, by alternating, allows the wires inside to lay straight when you unwrap it. Now, a lot of people, when they do this, they take the end of their cable and they tuck it inside to hold it in. I like to use a piece of Velcro to tie the cable together. If you have this or you're able to get it off Amazon, it's super awesome, keeps everything nice and clean, and doesn't put any pressure on any part of your cable. Now we have a controller that is safely wrapped, where our connection point has no stress on it, as well as other portions of the cable are not stressed, thus giving us more life with our controller. Now the Super Nintendo controller. Same basic concept. Again, we don't want to wrap around the back side, causing that stress point at the connector. So we'll do the same over-under technique. Again, grab at the base, come out with index and thumb, roll away from you to create your first loop, roll toward yourself to create the under loop. Again, away for the over and back for the under loop. Away and back. Again, at this point, a lot of people want to wrap this inside, but that can actually create a kink point here. So like I said previously, I like to use a little bit of Velcro, cable management, so that there's no stress on my cables. Now for the Nintendo 64 controller. When I was a kid, my favorite way to wrap this controller was to do a nice X across the front. Well, the issue with this we actually have 3 points of kink if you pull the cable tight enough. We have the standard cable connection, then we have across the L and the R buttons. And if you tighten it enough, you can actually damage the cable in multiple places. So again, we want to avoid kinks by holding the controller at the connection port. Again, thumb and index finger away from you to create the first loop, toward you to create the second, and back and forth until the cable is completely wrapped. And finally, a little bit of Velcro just to hold it all together nicely. Once you finish wrapping up all your cables, you'll notice they take up a lot less room, they don't get tangled, and they will prolong the life of your controllers. Thanks for watching this video. If you learned something new today, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'll talk soon. See ya.